So, yes, my name is Francesco Sani, and I'm going to talk about September 11, a participatory performance project that explores how knowledge drawn from social sciences and the historical archive can influence political participation. This project is developed as part of my doctoral research at the Montfort University in Leicester and has been sponsored by the General Federation of Trade Unions. So the piece is constructed as what Bertolt Brecht called a learning play, um, namely a form of participation-oriented theatrical performance whose aim is to experiment with social attitudes and social participation. In my application, the goal is to explore social attitudes towards the reception, sharing, and making of knowledge, and to foster critical self-awareness in participants. The reason why I see this relevant in the present situation is because we are often led to think that scientific knowledge is a sort of a monolithic set of ideas that the public should simply accept. Now, this instance is motivated to an extent if we consider the spread of actual conspiracy theories and misinformation that we have been affected by over the last few years, like COVID-19 deniers, that would be a very good example. However, skepticism can result more well-grounded when it comes to some social sciences, for instance, economics. For example, we just need to think that mainstream economic theory, the one applied over the last 50 years, has consistently failed in terms of its own standards of producing growth and wealth. This is something that has been underlined by empirical analysis conducted by the International Monetary Fund and Oxfam's Research Center, among other institutions. Given the urgent necessity for change in the current socioeconomic order, my practice aims at encouraging forms of learning and discussion that are community-oriented and democratic in nature. Now, the performance revolves around my play September 11, which relates about the coup d'etat enacted in Chile on September 11, 1973, and the economic policies adopted in the country before and after the coup, namely socialist policies under the Allende government before it and free market capitalism afterwards. In addition to my own writing, extracts from publications and speeches by relevant academic and non-academic figures that commented on the events are employed. The experience revolves around the defamiliarization of the process of reading, sharing, and commenting on information, this being done as part of the group. It essentially takes place through 3 steps or exercises. Number 1, a group reading conducted employing a metronome, where all participants read the text aloud, pronouncing a word for each beat of the metronome, which is set at 90 beats per minute. Number 2, a discursive session where participants read extracts from academic or non-academic commenters, and some basic details are provided to clarify the author's standpoint on issues of political economy, involvement in Chilean affairs, and methodology of analysis. Third and last, another group reading with the metronome, but with one participant that is assigned a different role. The person is given the task of assuming the perspective presented in one of the literature extracts read beforehand, following their personal understanding of it. Then this this participant, faces the rest of the group and reads one or more passages of the play without following the metronome, as the others do, and attempting to connote the way they read in accordance with the standpoint they are asked to assume. This can be stuff like reading certain passages louder than others, with different paces, and with different emotional tones. The first workshop connected to the project took place in Corn, Leicestershire, on February 11 of this year. Participants' reactions, which I gathered through in-person conversations and in the form of written feedback, show the focus of attention towards the embodied act of receiving and sharing information, and of contextualizing their personal reception of the information and ideas in question. I unfortunately don't have time to go into details about this today, but I can say that the experience seems to bring attention to the ways ideas and are related to practice, how knowledge informs behaviors, and how sharing knowledge, the act of sharing knowledge itself, is a behavior we undertake from an individual standpoint. Um, so the project is still in development. It's at a very early stage, and I would be very happy to chat about it if anybody's interested. I'm going to leave my email address here, and just wanted to say thank you for your attention.